Good afternoon, students. Before you this afternoon is Mr. Jinadu, taking us biology. The topic for today is animal nutrition. By the end of this lesson today, you should be able to define food, be able to list the type of food substance, and state the functions and deficiencies of each class of food. Now, what is food substance? Definition. You can define food substance as materials or substance or food eaten by animal to enable them survive and carry out their daily activities. Now, these food substances are of different classes. The classes are carbohydrates, protein, fats and oil, vitamin, mineral salts, water, and roughages. Now, at this point, I want to tell us that all these classes of food, they are very, very important, and they constitute what we call a meal. Now, these food substances are manufactured by green plants by a process called photosynthesis. Animals and non-green plants that depend on the green plant for food are called heterotrophs. Now, let us look at the classification of animals. Animals, as we are classified according to the type of food eaten. We have those animals that feed on flesh. We call them the carnivores. Those that feed on plants and plant products, we call them the herbivores. Example, we have the goat, rabbit, and cattle. The third class of animal are the omnivore. Omnivorous animals are those animals that will feed on both plants and animal materials. Example of omnivore are the man and pig. Now, those class of food we mentioned earlier, I want to look at the composition, that is, what they consist, what they are made of. Carbohydrate is one of the essential classes of food, and it is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. It is obtained from yam, rice, and maize. Now remember, it is spelled carbohydrate and not carbonhydrate. There are three classes of carbohydrates. We have the monosaccharide, or what we call the simple sugar. These monosaccharides, they have 1 unit simple sugar. An example of monosaccharide, we have the glucose, the fructose, and the galactose. After the monosaccharide, we have the disaccharide. They are called reducing sugar. They have 2 units of simple sugar. An example, we have the sucrose, maltose, and lactose. After the disaccharide, we have the polysaccharide. These are complex sugar, and they are made up of more than 2 simple sugars. We have examples, cellulose and starch. Carbohydrate as a major class of food is very, very important. Among the importance of carbohydrate is that it provides us with energy for our daily activities. It also provides heat during cold to maintain the body temperature. Carbohydrate is also used to build body parts of arthropods, or what we call insects. I mean the external parts of insects. We call them the exoskeleton. Protein, the second major class of food. They are complex molecules and are made up of units called amino acid. Protein is made up of carbon compound, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and phosphorus. It can be obtained in two ways: from animals in form of milk, egg, or fish, and it is also obtained from plants such as groundnuts and beans. Protein is equally important as our carbohydrates. Like we know, we are taught in the junior school that protein assists us to build up worn-out tissues. It is used for tissues and cell formation, that is body building. It is also used for production of hormones, and it can also be used for production of enzymes. Now, protein, we say, is used for production of hormones. Hormones are secreted in the body. So also enzymes, like we said in our last lesson, they are secretions in the body. The next after the protein are the fats and oil. Fats and oil are also referred to as lipids, and they occur in two forms. At room temperature, fats are solids, while oil are liquid at room temperature. During digestion, fat and oil are hydrolyzed. Importance of fat and oil. They provide more energy. They provide soluble fats, soluble vitamins, such as vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. These are vitamin soluble. Fats and oil also assist to maintain body temperature. Mineral salts, one of the important class of food. The mineral salts are required for metabolic activities within the body. Metabolic activities such as digestion. All food should contain mineral salts. And among the mineral salts we are talking about, we have our calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, potassium, sulfur, manganese, copper, etc. If all these things are not present in our food, then they result into what we call deficiencies. If they are not present or if they are not enough, they result in what we call deficiency. Now, let us look at the sources, functions, and deficiency symptoms of vitamins. Do you wonder why some young children have bow leg, or what we call rickets? Why some are stunted? Now you look at the two pictures there. The first one is showing what we call bow leg. Biologically, we call it rickets. We call it ricket. It has to do with inadequate minerals, vitamins in our food. So we are going to look at those vitamins, their symptoms, the functions, and deficiency. Now, before we go to the functions of calcium and other vitamins, any question on what we have said earlier? No. Let's continue. Now, calcium, the functions of calcium and the deficiency. Calcium assists in the development of bone and teeth. It also assists in blood clotting. It assists in normal functioning of it. Now, when calcium is insufficient or lacking in our diet, it results in what we call rickets and tooth decay. The diagram we saw the other time shows the leg of a man. You can see the leg is caving, both right and left. That is what we call ricket, but some of us know it as bow leg. Phosphorus, another vitamin's importance. Among the functions of phosphorus is that it assists for strong development of bone and teeth, for respiration, and it constitutes part of the DNA and RNA. Now, can somebody tell me the full meaning of DNA and RNA? Yes? Tokwe? It's okay. Diribonucleic acid. Clap for him. Inadequate phosphorus, or when it is lacking in food, will also result to rickets, tooth decay. Magnesium, another important materials that must be present in our meal. Magnesium is necessary for muscle contraction. Also assists in formation of teeth. Inadequate magnesium will result to nervous disorder. Now, this nervous disorder we will treat in full when we talk about nervous system. When we talk about nervous system, we'll look at everything that has to do with nervous coordination in full. Potassium, one of the important components that must be present in food, is used for functioning of the muscles. It is used for transmission of nerve impulses. Inadequate magnesium in food will result to muscle paralysis. Now look at this. That young man on the wheelchair is having what we call muscle paralysis. He cannot stand up on its own, so he has to be aided with the wheelchair. So that is what we can see there. Iron, I-R-O-N. I don't mean that iron on the window that is used for the burglary. That is not what we are talking about. This iron we are talking about is a mineral present in food, and it has to do with blood formation of what we call hemoglobin. Now, this blood formation is formed in the what? RBC, red blood cell. That is the meaning of RBC, red blood cell. Very important. We have two types of blood cell majorly, the RBC and WBC, the white blood cell. Deficiency of iron will lead to what we call anemia. Now, look at the two diagrams there. The normal and the anemia. Can we spot the difference there? Can we spot the difference? Yes? You say what? So the platelets for the normal are many. So the platelets, that is it. The platelets is shown here. You can see the number of platelets present in that of the anemia, and you can see the number of platelets present in that of the normal. So that is what is lacking in that person that is anemia, that is anemic. Copper is another vitamin that is very, very important in our meal. Copper is required for normal growth, for respiration in aerobic organisms. Respiration in aerobic organisms. What do we mean by aerobic? Aerobic. We did that under respiration. Aerobic is a type of respiration that takes place in the presence of oxygen. Now, this means that during anaerobic respiration, oxygen must be present to produce carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Now, the other respiration, let me just briefly explain that, is anaerobic. That is called fermentation in some cases. Fermentation in some cases, that is, respiration that takes place in the presence of little or no oxygen. The deficiency of copper in food will result also in what? Anemia. Sodium and chlorine, very, very important. It is necessary for the transmission of nerve impulses. It also assists us in the maintenance of what? Osmotic balance in the cell. Osmotic balance means the pH, water balance, pH. Inadequate sodium and chlorine will result in what we call muscle cramp. The picture there is showing that man with muscle cramp. And when you have that, then it can be terrifying. I was a victim sometimes. Now, having said and done, we have assignments here. And the assignments are these. What is food? Everybody write down. What is food? I repeat. What is food? Number 2. List 3 forms into which animals are classified. Give an example each. List 3 forms into which animals are classified. Give an example each. Write all those assignments down and you submit these assignments to the lab tomorrow morning unfailingly. Tomorrow morning unfailingly. Do we have questions before we go? Any question? I should explain that anaerobic respiration very well. Well, I will. Now, what anaerobic means is this. The oxidation of food in the absence or in the presence of little oxygen to produce ethanol. I say what? Ethanol or ethyl alcohol. Carbon dioxide. Ethanol or ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. Now, this anaerobic respiration is otherwise called fermentation, and it is used majorly in food industries. In what? In food industries. Now, the manufacture of cheese is a fermentation process. Our drinks, our soft drinks, Coca-Cola and what have we, it's a fermentation process. Malt is a fermentation process. Even our local food we do at home, like the pap, has to go through fermentation. The soaking of the grain for about 3 days is also what? A fermentation process. Thank you.